we're saving the world is really what we're doing here.
100%. Welcome to the Home Recorded Music Podcast. Thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing. In today's episode, I am speaking with a man of many talents in the multimedia realm, the co-host of Wildride with SteveO, founder of the podcast show, the Elk Lodge, and singer-songwriter in the band, That Kid Is You. Let me introduce my special guest, Briskey.
Wow, dude. Hey, what's up, everybody? Bro, that's the best intro I've ever been given. I've never been introed like that in my life.
Oh, well, there you go. How did you get into music?
Growing up, my parents were always playing records and shit. My dad was like British Invasion, The Who, The Beatles. My mom was like more soul music, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Sly and the Family Stone. There's just always music around. When I was 5, I took piano lessons, kind of started to understand music a little bit. And then in 3rd grade, I found the drums, fell in love with the drums. Like, I am a drummer. I identify as a drummer. I do a lot of things, but like who I am deep down, I'm a drummer. All through high school or middle school, high school, all of it, I was drumming in bands. I was in the school band. I was in the marching band. I was in the jazz band. And then I had my own, bands with my friends. I went to school for audio recording after high school and music business. I mean, it's just sort of evolved from there. I'm still not like making any money off of music. That's most people who make music, but
99%.
Yeah, probably more.
Yeah.
So I still, I still haven't made it, but I'm still charging forward, believing in the dream.
Well, that's right. I think I always say to people in life, it doesn't matter if you make a cent off music, as long as you be what it is that you want to be, because at the end of life, someone could have $1 zillion and they could say, I want to be a musician now. Here's a heap of money. Make me a musician for my whole life. And no money can buy that. So it's priceless, essentially being what you love and doing what you love. Let's go into your favorite artists.
I mean, it's changed throughout my life. Do you mean like right now or just
Sure.
throughout?
Yeah, anytime.
All right. Right now, that new Kendrick album is really cool. I mean, I like hip hop in general because hip hop feels like the genre, and like genre is even like kind of a weird word these days because like genres exist less and less, which I think is great. But hip hop as a whole feels like it's always changing the most. It's like this constantly evolving like monster, And so I really dig it. So yeah, I love Kendrick. Tyler, the Creator's last album was super cool. I love the new Pusha T album. But on a broader sense, I love Bob Marley. I love Fela Kuti. I like soul music a lot, like Al Green, Ray Charles, Motown, all that kind of shit.
I'm into that kind of stuff as well. And I grew up in the 90s and sort of grew up with grunge rock. So for some reason that's instilled in me and I just can't get rid of it. But I try to branch out.
Like you make a song and you're like, oh, this is cool. This is different. And then like you add like the thing like, it's just like all that. For me, it's gospel. It like, because I learned how to play piano I would go to church, and then if there was a song we sang that was kind of cool, I would take the thing home and like learn it when I got home, play the song on piano. No matter what I'm doing, it'd be like, oh, this is like the hardest fucking beat. This is so cool. I'm going to put some piano on it. And it just suddenly becomes like this delightful gospel song. It's like, I can't fucking escape it.
Yeah. And I think over time, whatever music style that we that integrates into our minds and body, the longer we do it, the more original it becomes, essentially to our own being, I guess, if that's one way to put it. I don't know. Over time, I feel like, all the influence that I've had throughout my life, all the different bands, even though I do play grunge rock in it, you could stereotype it in one genre. I feel like I have my own fluency. I have my own strumming patterns. I have something that's me, I've embodied something, whatever that is.
To just tack on that's kind of like the name of the game. Like you were saying, you can make $1 bajillion and maybe you could even, purposely make a song that's going to make money, but it's not going to be like your heart that they're hearing. It's going to be like, bullshit, like, so you got to just kind of like whatever just falls out of you. That's the music you should be making, So if it's grungy, if it's gospely, like just let it fall out and just see what it is, and you just kind of get better at like guiding it to land where it goes. But it always just falls out.
It's almost necessary for a musician to be able do that. Like when you were saying that, it made me think about how necessary it is. It's almost as if there's something in you, it has to get out. Like it, you know, if it doesn't get out, it's going to get suppressed and maybe you get depressed, but it's, you know, it's that therapy of releasing that, you know, that sound, that idea, that emotion.
100%. Like that's how I know music is the thing I should be doing, because I can't not do it. You know, like I have a lot of things I do. I edit awesome videos. I do fun shit. But if I had like $1 billion, I don't know that I would still be editing YouTube videos, but I would for sure still make music. Like I couldn't not do it.
So you have a music project at the moment, and it's a collaboration with a friend of yours, and it's called That Kid Is You. How did you come up with the name?
That friend you speak of is a best friend, actually.
Okay.
And that's my buddy JC, and we've been making music forever, just like in my bedroom. We always lived together, you know, in like houses full of people with no money who love making music. After a while, we were just like, hey man, like we got like some songs. We could probably like put some of these together, like put out a project, you know. It's like, okay, well, like what are we going to call it? Trying to think of a band name is hard, especially like when you're trying, you know, it just doesn't come. So we were like, let's just be on the lookout, you know, for the next couple weeks or whatever. Just have your ears open for whatever the name is. And then one night we were hanging with some friends, like after hours, just like back at our house, just up late drinking, shooting the shit. And the conversation got on to talking about, because like we're in our 30s, you know. At this time I was probably like 29 or something, 30, you know. We're like a little older, and you're looking back on your life and you see, like, picture yourself when you were like 7, and you're looking at that kid, and it's almost like that's a different person. Like when I think about that kid and the way he behaved and just who he was, that kid is you, you know. And like, so somebody said that, it was like, but like, if you think about it, that kid is you. And then me and JC look at each other like, whoa. And we had like a whiteboard in my room, and I just like wrote, that kid is you, drew a little doodle thing. And then we woke up in the morning, you know, and it was like, oh shit, like that's kind of cool. And so we took a picture of it, and actually that became, if you look on our Spotify, we released an EP, and it's like, it's red, and then in white is written, that kid is you. And there's like a little doodle, and that's from the photo of the whiteboard the night we heard the name. And so that's just kind of how the name came to us.
What style would you put your music in, like with That Kid Is You?
It's kind of hard to put your finger on it, which I think is cool. We never make a song thinking of a genre. The genre is just a name you, after the fact, you're like, I guess that's kind of a country hip hop song. Oh, I guess that's kind of an R&B disco song. I don't know. When people ask me what kind of music you make, I just usually say like, it's hip hop, kind of experimental, kind of poppy, but it's hip hop, you know. And
your music videos are sensational. I absolutely love the choreography of some of the one shot scenes that you do. Are those music film clips, are they designed by yourself and JC?
Yeah, we're like a total in-house everything. So yeah, JC went to film school, and he's like, you know, works in film. I know I'm an editor, but I don't really know what I'm doing. But so we've directed like and edited all of our own stuff. Obviously, we've had some help sometimes. But yeah, but that one video, Future Gold, which is just all one shot, that was like JC was working with this director, and he sort of got like a bro deal to borrow that like steady cam rig and a really nice camera. And we were like, what can we do with this, you know? And so that's when we figured out to do the one shot and then stop. And then we put a mirror there because we were like, it'd be cool if people could see that we're taking it off and handing it to the other guy. But yeah, so in any case, yeah, we do all those all on our own. We've started to bring in other people. Actually, last night we shot a music video because JC met this guy who works with film a lot, you know, like records to film. It's not digital, and sounded fun. So we did a music video last night, like on film, like on Super 8 and Super 16.
Nice.
So I don't know what it looks like. Actually, I haven't seen the shots, you know, like that's, you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
I'll see it in a few days after it's processed.
Does JC also play instruments as well?
He can play guitar a little bit. Drums is the only thing I'm actually like decent at, you know, like even piano. You don't want me in your band playing piano. Like you're not going to take me on tour playing piano. If we're in the studio and I just got to play something kind of cool one time that we're going to loop, like I can do that. And I could do that with bass and with guitar, like, but you don't want me in your band doing any of that stuff, you know. And
Sure.
JC's kind of the same way, like with coming from less of a like musical background. But JC, I mean, he can make a piano sound cool, and he can make a guitar sound cool, and we'll find a cool loop and do it. But we're studio loopable musicians.
You guys do your own home recording? Like you have your own studio, or
you're looking at it. This is pretty much everything, and everything that's released, like everything that's out right now on Spotify, we made in my bedroom. So yeah, we're like home studio guys. But so recently, it was actually right before the pandemic, we did this. So to say recently, it doesn't even fit anymore. But we met a guy in LA, like a friend of a friend. He's this like very energetic, like kind of wild Argentinian guy who's like a music video director. And he's like, man, I love you guys. Like, I want to help you guys just kind of like progress. And he put us in touch with a producer he knows in Argentina. And he sent that guy our EP that has the doodle on it. He was like, cool, I love your guys' music. Like next time I'm in LA, I'll hit you guys up and maybe we'll book a studio and do something. And we were like, no, like we want to go to Argentina. That's way cooler for us, you know? And so we did. We booked a trip. We flew to Argentina. And this was our first time working with a producer other than the two of us. The producer, his name is Nico Calwill. He produced the band Coco Rosie. Have you heard of Coco Rosie? It's like two sisters. It's like an indie rock band. They're super cool. Check out Coco Rosie.
I will check them out.
But he's just used to like weirdos who like to just make everything up in the studio. Like I've never written a song. Yep. I've never like written a song and then been like, now I'll record it. And not, like, I just sort of make songs, you know, like if I'm going to make a song, I'll just play something on piano. Okay. Find a loop. Let's add drums. Like just kind of keep throwing things in there. And that's how we put the whole album together. But working with Nico, everything just had such a better quality sound to it. And like, you know, he's very talented at what he does. So he can even be like, oh, you're so close. Like that one note, like just, you want to sing that? You know, he like does that kind of shit, which I just don't have the ear for. So that project came out really great. And that's the first thing that we didn't make in my bedroom. And that album is called Argentina. And it's 16 songs, and we're releasing them one single every Friday for 16 weeks, you know, for 4 months.
Okay.
And so the first single is actually going to drop June 3rd. It's going to be every Friday then after that. So we're very excited to start releasing this Argentina project because it's kind of a growth outside of the bedroom.
Hell yeah. Oh, that sounds amazing. With your home recording stuff, what programs do you use?
I use Logic. Do
you use any plugins, any particular plugins that you like?
Not really. Honestly, like I'm such a bare bones guy. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not a gearhead. I don't look at forums and know what's good or what, like, I just like to turn it on and use it, you know? So I bought Logic, and pretty much everything I've made is just what it came with. A couple friends have given me, here's a sound bank. And, you know, so I'll pull some sounds into like, you know, the Ultra Beat sampler that they have in Logic, and, you know, kind of build my own little kit out of these samples. And obviously I've recorded myself playing drums a little bit too and things like that, but I just rock with what it came with.
I think that's an excellent way to tackle any kind of music. I think that, you know, I try to endorse people being able to have no excuses for being able to record something. The main premise is to have a program that allows you to do layers, you know, so you can lay down your drums, you can lay down your bass, and you can lay down your guitars and vocals. There's so many programs that do that. People have said they use Studio One, Pro Tools. But yeah, that's, I think bare bones is really all you need. And I've been doing it for 20 years, recording and stuff, but, you know, I'm really only just sort of touching the base in terms of getting into compressors and EQs and really sort of just working out how they work within the realms of recording. You know, like with a bass, you know, with an EQ, you might take out some of the high notes, and with the guitar, you might take out the low notes so that they mix well within the mix, things like this, you know, just very simple things. But, you know, as I said, I'm a grunge rocker, so I have punk rock kind of tends to, you know, go towards, you know, get a guitar, play it. It can be out of tune. It could be the oldest guitar you can find, and just, you could be smashing some bin lids and to make your drum beat.
I agree. One of the best lessons I ever learned in school, we had like a producer class, and the teacher was like, and we had just gone through like a year of recording engineering, so we're all like, oh, you have to. And he was like, none of that shit matters at all. The song is all that matters. And he's like, listen to old Bob Marley recordings, like all those old recordings that it's like one microphone in a fucking shack. Sounds like shit. I mean, technically sounds like shit.
Sure.
But it's perfect. It's beautiful because the songs are fucking great. Like you don't need that, and so I have this microphone here. Like if I want to play drums, like I'll just hold the microphone. Like if you're going to play ukulele, like, all right, sit here. I'll just hold, like, I just need to get it. Once it's in there, then I'll fuck with it. I'll put it through an amp simulator. I'll EQ it. I'll fucking bit crush it. I don't know. But like, I don't care about the quality going in. But now having said that, that shit does matter. And it does affect like the quality when you're hearing and like, so that was such a perk of working with Nico, the producer in Argentina, that like, he has the same attitude of like, yes, it doesn't matter. But like, he also knows like, but I could just do this, this, and this, and like, it's going to sound great. And we're like, cool, great. So I'm not saying like, fuck quality, I think that stuff's important, but it does bother me when like, I like to move quick. And, like, I think like, I don't like when people like, let's sit and let's think, and it's like, we could have recorded it already, just play it, or like, 100%. Or the worst, speaking of like genres and stuff, the worst is when you choose the genre before you make the song. And then people are like, okay, let's make an R&B song. And then you're going through and then it's like, wow, this is really cool. But then they're like, it's cool, but like, is this an R&B song? I don't know. And it's like, who gives a fuck? It's an R&B song. Like, it's cool. Like, R&B was a jumping off point. It's like, just get it in my computer. And then I actually love when friends come over and they're like, I don't play music at all. It's like, great. Hit the piano, like try and make something cool. And then I'll sample that. And it's like, I'd rather have that person than like a concert pianist,
Do you have any tips on recording yourself? What's something that you've learned along the way that you feel like you can pass on to the next generation?
Well, okay, for like a just beginner, for like a novice or whatever, just do it. Like, and that's like I said, I hate when people are like sitting there, like, let's think about it before we do it. Like, just do it. Like, just put the paint on the canvas and move it around till it looks cool. Like, you don't got to think about it. And if you've never made music and you've always felt like, I wish I could, I want to produce beats or, whatever. A lot of people want to produce beats, it's like, make a shitty beat. Like, cause it's like, oh, I tried one and I don't know, it's just no good. And I'm just not, it's like Jimi Hendrix was probably not good the first time he picked up a guitar, like just start sucking. The sooner you start sucking, the sooner you'll make a song that's good. Maybe your 100th beat you make is going to be like decent, so just make it. Something I've learned kind of in a more advanced level. I just love like layering shit up. If you're like, oh, this is cool, but like, why does like Kendrick Lamar's drums sound so much better and mine just sounds kind of flat and weak? It's like, just layer that shit up. Just keep piling it in, like throw claps in it, snaps, like hit fucking, just like, I don't know, give everything a lot of layers to it. And it's, it's that wall of sound. It's like, I'm not inventing this, but I've at least found in production, like just fucking beef it up and things really have more oomph.
People shouldn't have excuses to do anything in life. I think that the best way that I've found in creation was that, like when, just a quick example, when I started vlogging a couple of years ago, I thought about it for so freaking long. It wasn't until I just did one and it was shit. And then I did another one, and now I make vlogs, and I think they're freaking awesome. After about 50 vlogs, but I had to go through those, what people might feel like are embarrassing moments because they're showing their vulnerability. I think it seems so important to just jump in the deep end and just fuck everyone else, if that makes sense.
I agree. Yeah, 100%. And like, also people like that. You know, you think like, oh, like it's so embarrassing, but people like watching you grow. They like coming to you and being like, I remember when you were just making those shitty ones. Like those were the days, you know? And you made me think of something too. A friend of mine tweeted something and it just really hit me. And he was like, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like, imagine the things people could have accomplished if they weren't worried about what other people think. Just imagine what you could have done with your life if you weren't at all worried about embarrassing yourself. And it's a simple concept, but I don't know. Maybe he worded it better, but it hit me. It was like, wow, you're going to die in the end anyway. And like, so what? You were embarrassed when you were 35, trying to stand up for the first time. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, like imagine the life you could have lived if you just were okay with maybe embarrassing yourself.
And making mistakes, 100%.
And making mistakes, yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, that's so true. I hope people take this on, these lessons.
We're dropping gems here, people.
Dropping bombs, truth bombs. What is next for That Kid Is You?
We're releasing this project this summer, which is very exciting. And we'll be going to Argentina in the end of June to do some press and play some shows. Honestly, what I'm most excited about is like the next album, you know, because the way we did this album, we just booked studio time. We flew to Argentina and we spent 2 weeks and this is what we got. And so as I listen to this album now, which for me, like I've heard it over and over, it's, you know, we made it a couple of years ago and like, you know, so it's like, I know now we could do something even better and something even cooler. So not sure where we'll go, but we have a friend who just bought up like a property in Tuscany. And she's like, you can come here and record the next album, or maybe we'll go back to Argentina. Maybe we'll go somewhere else. But next for That Kid Is You is some dope fucking fun times and some we're going to the top, baby.
To the moon.
To the moon. But yeah, I'm just excited to get back into like recording. You know, that's my favorite part of the process is.
It really is. The spark and the feeling of creating something new is really, there's nothing like it. Absolutely.
There's nothing like it. And like when you're up late and like you're a little drunk, you're so tired and you make something and you go to bed and then you wake up and you're like, what did we even do? Like, and then you hear it, you know, and you're like, oh shit, like that moment of like, what did we do last night?
Where can people access all of the things that you do?
Best place to go is my Instagram at Paul Briskey, PAUL, as in boy, RISSKE at Paul Briskey. I got that link tree. That'll take you to the Elk Lodge podcast that I do with my lovely fiance. That'll take you to That Kid Is You music. So yeah, that's probably the best place. But I'm on Twitter at Paul Briskey, paulbriskey.com. And That Kid Is You is really where you got to go. So That Kid Is You, Spotify, Instagram, and watch out for this new music that we're about to drop. It's going to be dope. It's going to be a fun summer.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today, Paul. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Shane. This was fun. I enjoy your show. You're a good interviewer.
I'd love to do another one of these maybe when the album drops and we can, we can talk about how it's going and all that kind of stuff.
Great.
And we'll talk some more about home recording. Maybe we can get some more bangers for people, inspirational things.
That's right. We're saving the world is really what we're doing here.
100%.
In this quick 40 minutes. That's all it takes.
That's what it's about.
Sick, dude.
Rock on, man. Have a rad day.
You too, dog.
You heard it from the man, Paul Briskey. Go and check him out on all his socials. This is the Home Recorded Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and like and leave a comment. Keep rocking. Keep rolling. Rah.